My name is Rita Daniels, and I am a great-great-great-grandniece to Harriet Tubman. This is a Radio 1 original. Well, growing up in Auburn, one of the things that we grew up knowing was that we were related to a slave. And at one point, we weren't sure whether or not it was a good information for us at that time, because a slave and okay, we're living in Auburn. But at first it was, wow, we're related to a slave. She ran away, she stole other slaves, so we weren't happy. We weren't sure whether we should be happy about that because she was wanted and she did so many things that made us at first feel that she was not someone we wanted to be related to, until as time went by, we realized that it was okay to talk about Harriet Tubman, because my mother told me when she was growing up that was like a subject that you did not talk about. Living in Auburn, she was a free woman, so we weren't raised around segregation. We went to school with whites and blacks and different diverse people, so it was okay. I had to do a project on Harriet Tubman when I was 9 years old. So after I found out that I was actually really related to a slave, I started going to family members and realized that, wow, I could never have done that. But my research took me to my mom, my aunts, my uncles, great aunts, who all had different stories about Harriet Tubman. And so that's where it started. That's where I got to a point where, hey, I can do this. I can do this. And I was proud of her after it was okay to talk about a slave.
So you found out about how you related to it through family members? Through
family members, okay. Yes.
What have you guys, what are you guys doing to carry on her legacy, or really preserving her legacy right now?
Well, right now we are in the early stages of running the Harriet Tubman Learning Center. Many of us have gone back to get higher education because Harriet Tubman was illiterate when she died at 92. So being a part of a family that had illiteracy, because there are some family members that I even knew who could not read or write. And even today, there's a lot of children who are slow learners, who are not given that opportunity to be as advanced as others. So what we did was started the Learning Center. Of course, we need to get another building because the one we were in, we had to leave. We had 24 hours to get out of that building, but it's still going to continue. We are going to make this global. It needs to be in other areas as well. Birmingham, Alabama, we've been there. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington. These are areas or cities and states, excluding Chicago. We want to have Harriet Tubman Learning Centers that have a connection to descendants, not just having the name, because there's a lot of businesses out there that say Harriet Tubman Learning Center. They also say Harriet Tubman museums that are not connected to descendants. So that's how we continue that legacy. We continue that legacy through our lineage, through our heritage, because we wanted to make sure that family members, as well as those who are underserved, underprivileged, can get involved with the Learning Center.
What's your favorite story you've heard from your family members
about Harriet Tubman?
Yeah.
One of the most favorite stories that I have is how she overcame a disease, which was narcolepsy. Even with that narcolepsy, she would fall asleep and wake up smarter than, ready to go and ready to pass on her followers. That is getting them to freedom. That was her goal. And she never got caught. She never lost a passenger. And that's what they called it. Slaves, they were passengers. but some of the songs that she would sing would be Wade in the Water. Those are certain codes. There were codes that they would use, letting people know that we got people coming, wait for us, certain times. So Harriet Tubman was just phenomenal. She was the person that I know that, following in her footsteps, I couldn't do that. So what we're doing is the Learning Center is our way of giving back to the community, giving back to those that do not have.
What were your thoughts on the biopic that came out about her?
The biopic or
Yeah, the biopic.
that Russell Simmons did?
No, the movie.
Oh, you're talking about the movie,
Yeah.
okay? Because I was going to say that biopic, you know.
The movie that came
But the movie that came out, I have mixed feelings about it. There's some truth in it, and then there's some fiction. So when I talk about the fiction, I have a list of things that I could say was wrong with it. But in the long run, it was good. I just didn't like the fact that she was already married to John Tubman, as well as at the end of the story, it did not talk about the last 50 years of her life as a person who lived in Auburn, New York. I was born and raised in Auburn, New York, and so we grew up knowing about the Harriet Tubman home. We knew about all these things that she did, but it was not included in the movie. So our goal is to do a documentary, and we're starting to document a lot of that information that we were giving so that our children, our children's children will have the true story of Harriet Tubman, and some of the stories that were passed on to me will be passed on to family members while I'm gone. I know I'm not going to be here past 125, but yeah, we want to make sure that it's secured and that it's saved.